Hey guys, Pat Ryarky here, also known as the Patriarchy. All hail the Patriarchy, well into 2017. Leftists destroy female business owners' burrito stand because they're white. So let me get this out of the way. These two white women went to Puerto Nuevo, Mexico, to learn how to make burritos. They saw how the tortillas were made and stuff. They went there and learned, and they did an interview with the Willamette Week and they told the Willamette Week that they traveled to Puerto Nuevo, Mexico, and became obsessed with tortillas, speaking with the local tortilla ladies for ingredients and tips. I picked the brains of every tortilla lady there in the worst broken Spanish ever, and they showed me a little of what they did, said Connolly. They told us the basic ingredients, and we saw them moving and stretching the dough similar to how pizza makers do before rolling it out with rolling pins. Okay, now let me get into something real quick. When cooks and chefs and people like that try to open a restaurant and learn how to make a certain type of food, one thing that they do is they go to other countries or other types of cooks and chefs of other cultures and learn how to make those foods. You'll see this on cooking shows all the time, or you'll read about it, or you just hear about it from chefs. They'll go somewhere like Mexico or to Europe or especially France, and they'll learn how to make foods, and they'll get taught by someone. And then they'll incorporate that into their process and their meals and how they make stuff. Like, obviously, and then you franchise it in a way. Like, let's say Taco Bell. Taco Bell's franchised Mexican food into the simplistic form, like being burritos and stuff, and have it all across the country. They're not being appropriative. They just found a way to give people a fast food version of something. The Chinese guy at my local 7-Eleven isn't appropriating this when he gives me that shitty burrito in the freezer when I go there and eat it late at night after the bar. And it gives me fucking heartburn. That guy is just selling me a burrito that's in a bag for $1 that I can buy really quick because there's no Mexican lady around to give me a fucking $1 burrito at that point. If there was, I'd buy one, obviously. Or tamale or something, you know. But this happened. They talked to the Willamette Week, and then Mike.com and the Portland Mercury wrote articles about them and covered this, and they started to get a lot of negative press. Now, according to these sources, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but I've looked around, they said the business was actually doing pretty well in Portland, which is just a growing place. And it's like any location with a lot of people. It has a lot of different types of foods. If you're in Austin, if you're in New York City, Chicago, stuff like that, you're going to see different kinds of foods. And types of cultures and things adapted, because there's so many people there. It's just to feed it, really, just to feed the different. I mean, there's different interests, and people get bored, and they want to eat different things, and they want variety and convenience. So that's why sushi's everywhere in a city or something like that. I mean, it's not appropriating Japanese people. It's like people are like, fuck, sushi's good, so they open up a bunch of sushi places across the country in cities where there's a lot of fucking people. I mean, that's normal. It makes sense. It's the free market, it's capitalism. Now, I'm not saying this business didn't get shut down because of the free market in a sense, negative press, but it's unfair to criticize a business for doing something that everyone does who serves food who is a restaurant. I mean, you can't open up an Italian restaurant or something. That makes no sense. If you learn how to make the food, then you can cook it. And your restaurant doesn't have to credit people or be about that. It just has to be about the food. Martin Scorsese's influenced by the French New Wave and makes his movies. That doesn't mean he's appropriating the French, because the French are influenced by American cinema. And then we have great movies because they continue on these trends and influence each other. It's backwards to think that way. We need to have people learn from other cultures and so we can keep those good things alive and take them and move them forward. That's what's awesome. You take the best things from cultures and you mix them together and you move it forward. It's you definitely stick to things that you fundamentally like or how you want your country to be it secular or if you like capitalism or socialism, what kind of political leaning you follow. But at the end of the day, I think we all don't really mind this that much because it's how things evolve through society. I mean, we have to let people share clothes and music and ideas and all that stuff. It would be ridiculous to limit other people and say, well, you're appropriating it, because that's unfair to anyone being able to have a new experience or enjoy something or be successful in something they're really good at. It's quite frankly ridiculous. I can't find any justification in accusing people of simple things like this, like restaurant food, like burritos, as being a culturally appropriative asshole or white supremacy. Because of Portland's underlying racism, yeah, the most racist place in the country, the people who rightly own these traditions and cultures that exist are already treated poorly. What, people in Portland treat these people bad? Is there proof of this? These appropriating businesses are exploiting their already marginalized identities for the purpose of profit and praise. Yeah, they're erasing their identities and they're exploiting them. Yeah, they're just, nobody's aware of this. That's ridiculous. People of color are nothing more than an afterthought when the white perpetuators of this tradition continue to do this on a regular basis. Yeah, people. How are they an afterthought? They did an interview and they talked about where they got their influence. They actually credited where they were inspired. That's actually kind of the opposite. That they didn't make it an afterthought. They actually talked about it and it's out there. They credit it. That's to me, that's like covers it. It's like, oh, okay, you told us where your influence was and you went to Mexico and you learned how to do some stuff. That's pretty common practice if you watch the Food Network or anything. Gordon Ramsay or anyone like that, they talk about this stuff. Not out of the ordinary at all, quite frankly. Pretty common. While Portland is supposedly a progressive place, yeah, Portland's no longer progressive because they have burrito. Super liberal white people usually only have super other white liberal people to answer to. I do agree with that criticism, just not in this case. That there are bubbles of social justice warriors in cities and they only support each other and they're not open to criticism. Or that the fact that they are privileged and in a bubble and they think that they're actually helping so many people. It's like, you don't do anything. You're just like everyone else. Which means the cycle of cultural appropriation will never end until people of color call attention to it. So you get to speak for all Mexicans and Spanish people in general. You get to speak for their feelings on burritos. Why? Who are you? Why do you get to speak for all them? Oh my god, you're so much offending everyone who ever fucking invented the burrito. Oh my god, there is some poor Mexican child right now, and you're selling these fucking burritos. What's wrong with you? Look at these evil, evil white women. Look, they're putting the sauce in their burrito. Oh my god. What is that? Oh my god. They're smiling about it too. They're so evil. That might as well be a swastika tattoo. Just terrible. Oh my god. Soon after the business was forced into closing its doors and online's presence has all but disappeared, the Portland Mercury called this closure a victory. The closing of Cook's Burritos is deeply disturbing, but is not surprising that it was caused by the social justice left, as noted by Ryan James Gerdusky of Red Alert Politics. The crusade to punish alleged cultural appropriation is merely deepens divides and actually works to destroy American culture rather than enhance it. Yeah, American culture is only improved by letting people take things from other cultures and enhance it. It only helps us, really. That's the only way we're going to really make any kind of progress is if we kind of don't act like we have all this kind of ownership. Because you're basically talking about, like, food supremacy, food origin supremacy, in a sense. By sectioning off ideas deemed non-white, social justice warriors are dividing people and destroying culture by forbidding it to blend, evolve, and become embraced as inherently American. The war on food is social Marxism, masked as a campaign for economic populism and cultural purity. It is just another failed theory that the left has embraced and tried to sell to the masses. It is a failed theory that hasn't really taken on. It's kind of like the gender pronouns and stuff. Like, it's just something that the common person still doesn't do, despite it getting pushed on us a lot. Man, if those are the burritos they made, those look fucking amazing. God, I'm getting really hungry making this video. This fucking sucks. Bob. What, Bob? Oh my god. Twin Peaks. Polite white supremacy a la Portland. Oh yeah, just the image of white supremacy. Look, they're putting sauce in their burrito. Oh my god, that white supremacy right there. They're white, the burritos are white. I mean, this cup's white. Look, this fucking background of this thing's white. Everything's white. Connolly, I picked the brains of every tortilla lady there is in the worst broken Spanish ever, and they showed me a little of what they did. They told us the basic ingredients, and we saw them moving and stretching the dough. We learned quickly it isn't quite that easy. On the drive back up to Oregon, we were still completely drooling over how good the tortillas were, and we decided we had to do something similar in Portland. The day after we returned, I hit the Mexican market and bought ingredients and started testing it out. Every day I started making tortillas before and after work, trying to figure out the process, timing, refrigeration, and how all of that works. The Willamette Weekly has since added a note at the bottom of the story saying Cook's Burritos has closed. Here's how the piece began. This week in white nonsense, two white women, white nonsense. That's such a fucking racist thing to say. Connolly decided it would be cute to open a food truck after a fateful excursion to Mexico. Oh, isn't it cute? You wanted to make food after you went on a trip. There's nothing really special about opening a Mexican restaurant. It's probably something that happens every day. Yeah, like how you write articles like this every day and other people do, but you still do it to make money. You do the same thing. But the owners of Cook's Burritos all but admitted in an interview with the Willamette Week, Will.I.Am Week, boom, 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 that they colonized the style of food when they decided to pick the brains of every tortilla lady there in the worst broken Spanish ever. Oh my god, how did they do that? The worst broken Spanish ever? The fundamental contention of both articles is that white Americans went to Mexico and exploited the labor and methods of people of color without compensating them. There's even a Google document circulating that lists restaurants in the Portland area that aren't appropriative. This is not about cooking at home or historical influences on cuisines. It's about profit, ownership, and wealth in a white supremacist culture. Everything's about profit and ownership and stuff like that. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you fucking kidding me? It's a restaurant. It's food. Almost as soon as the owners of Cook's Burritos expressed excitement about the prospects of their business, the second we had the tortilla, we were like, we're doing this. The excitement was over. The business is dead. Well, I feel very bad for Kelly. What's her name here? Callie. Sorry, Callie and Liz. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you open up another business and have success with something else. I hope people don't judge you for wanting to do what you want to do. I think in this country you should be able to do whatever you want. I thought that was the message of the left and the social justice warriors was do whatever you want. Use whatever pronoun you want. Be who you want to be. Whatever feels right. But I guess if you're influenced and inspired by something, you can't take that and do something with it anymore in their eyes. It's just appropriative, and silence is the origins of it, even though they talked about the origins of it very clearly. Which is kind of like, they act like they admitted it, like it was something evil, but that's them legitimately just saying, hey, this is how we learn this, like a lot of cooks do. Or anyone who's created something and learned from somewhere else. These white cooks bragged about stealing recipes from Mexico to start a Portland business. I love that, bragged about stealing recipes from Mexico. This week in appropriation, Cook's Burritos and Willamette Week. Jesus. Well, what do you guys think in the comments section? Do you think this was evil appropriation and this business should have shut down? Do you think white people shouldn't be able to make burrito recipes they learned from Mexican cooks, especially when they talk about it? And let's give some support out there if you guys can find out to Callie and Liz and let them know that we care, and we're there for them. We hope it works out, and you can maybe go somewhere else. Maybe open up somewhere in the South or something, even though there's a lot of competition. Yeah, Mexican restaurants open up every day. That's because there's a lot of demand for them. People like Mexican food. For fuck's sakes. Anyways, the patriarchy. All hail the patriarchy. And I'll see you guys next time.